This is Fantology.
You may have heard of us.
All right, what's up, Hunters for the Horn? This is Steven, your host with Fantology Podcast, with my lifelong friends, Jake and Josh, talking about Wheel of Time TV show, season 2. A little bit of a promo hype episode. So we're going to start off by talking about our thoughts, kind of recap our thoughts on season 1. It was 2 years ago now that it actually came out, but we do still have some thoughts there. And then we'll watch the trailer for season 2 and then kind of just, go into what we're excited for, what we think will make for a successful season, et cetera, et cetera. So Jake, back when we did the Wheel of Time episodes, you were always like our resident expert, and you always tried to tell me you weren't the expert, but
not the expert.
I guess we'll see as more and more time passes, right, without reading the books. And we do have TV shows. We have the TV show, so it's a little more fresh on our minds than other book series that we read years ago and kind of fade into the background. But you're still our expert, I think.
I don't know about that, but I do like it a lot.
Yeah. So season 1 of the show. What did you guys think briefly? I know we've had episodes about this. We've talked about this. People who follow the show are probably not going to be excited. Or sorry, not excited. Maybe you're excited, but you're not going to be surprised by our opinions. But just, in like a few sentences, your thoughts on season 1.
I'll go first. It's probably going to be the most negative here. I was really excited as it came out, and I didn't really care about the changes to lore as much, or I didn't really care about the changes from the book as much. I just like the further it got along, I was disappointed with the quality. And I felt like it was kind of like that clown meme of like, this is fine, as I'm like painting myself into a clown. And then you're like, okay, yeah, this just was a lower quality production show than I hoped for. And a lot of it was just in the writing. I was disappointed with. I thought the actors did a great job. And I mean, obviously we understand like the last 2 episodes were affected by COVID, and there was the recast and all that. And so there is they do have an excuse for the end of the season, but I don't know how much more I actually would have liked it, even if none of that stuff happened.
So can you remember any specific things that bugged you when you say the writing?
It was just kind of
ways that characters were portrayed, or comments people made, or what?
It was just kind of like, it was just like cheesier. Like I don't know, like the production quality in general was just lower. And I mean, the Trollocs never looked good, even in season 1, I didn't think. And then I think they did some stuff that was just kind of like cheap in terms of like writing and directing. Like some of the dialogue was kind of stiff, and like the dream sequence stuff, I don't know. It just wasn't like, if you compare it to a show like Game of Thrones, and I'm not talking about plot, I'm not talking about the adaptability, I'm just talking about production quality of first season Game of Thrones versus production quality first season Wheel of Time. And I was hoping more for the Game of Thrones quality out there. But so looking forward to season 2. I'm excited. Well, I want to watch it, and I want to be converted again. But I'm gonna watch it all for sure, and I'll have a good time watching it. But
you'll have an open mind.
Yeah, I'll have an open mind.
Your mind is open to be changed.
Yes. I'm just not sure as to where. I'm not confident that it'll be leagues beyond what season 1 was.
Okay, I'll go. I obviously think I'm more positive about than Jake. I thought it was fine. Like I didn't have any big problems with the production quality. I think that they are leaning a little bit more YA. I think that Tor and just a lot of the way that they've tried to market the Wheel of Time is more to try and capture that young adult trend. And I think that that part of what's affecting the show is to try and capture that young adult trend.
Like recently, or you think historically they've?
Yeah. I mean, so they redid the covers to be more like YA covers. They tried to split up the books to be, to be more digestible for YA readers. They did the comic series out of the first one, I think.
Well, I mean, the comic
Those
series
were all,
that's been around for a while, but they like re-released
yeah.
it, I think. Or
Well,
did
I know
more
I'm talking about
content.
like the last like 10, 15 years of
Okay.
I mean,
Wheel of
there were
Time.
efforts, like those things happened, but it's not like that was the main push of that. Like, I don't think anyone considered, like, the big bulk of the Wheel of Time audience wasn't YA readers
No,
ever.
but the way that they've tried to expand into new audiences, I think Tor like was trying to capture the YA trend, and I think specifically when like Hunger Games blew up and stuff like that, they're like, oh dang, we kind of have a series that could be like that if it were marketed a little bit different. And so, I think that's part of what is affecting the show, is that they are trying to push for, a younger audience, maybe not like young like kids, but younger.
Is that
like,
Tor doing that though, or is that just Amazon? Like, I don't think Tor is affecting how Amazon like markets their or writes their show.
No, but Amazon may have seen like, oh, here's the next Game of Thrones, but we can also combine it with something that's a little bit more digestible to the mass audience, a little bit more like an MCU version of Game of Thrones. Like that's something that's
Would you
safe
say
and tame.
that's YA or family friendly, or is there a
I don't think it's
difference
family
in the way you're
friendly, 'cause
thinking
they-
about it?
I don't think it's like super unfamily friendly. I think that I don't know. I think it's meant to capture like kind of the same market as the Hunger Games, like a little bit.
I feel like this is a weird take.
I don't think it's that weird of a take.
I think it's a weird take because they, like, especially a family friendly aspect, they made things more explicit for the show, and to me it was obvious they want this to be seen as more adult and more like Game of Thrones for that reason. And like, I don't think
More
there's
like Game of Thrones, but it's still not Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones has a very obvious adult tilt to it.
like,
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is
think
nowhere near Game of Thrones.
I know it's not, but if you compare the explicitness of the TV show versus how it's written in the book, and this isn't me saying it's good, better, or worse for it. I'm just saying they
aging
leveled
up
that
the
up.
actors. Rain and
aging up the
Egwene
actors.
have been together before.
Yeah.
Moraine and
And, like,
Swan, more explicit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like and just like, yeah, and again, this doesn't mean it's better or worse for it. I'm just saying, for your argument, saying they're trying to make this like a YA thing, that doesn't really track with what they've actually done with the.
I don't think so. I think it moves it
content.
up. I think if you're just comparing Eye of the World, then yes, but I do think that the series does get a little bit more adult as it moves on. Like both,
It gets more adult, but nothing is as explicit as it is in the show so far.
this is where I disagree. I think that there's very explicit things that happen in the book. There's a lot of
there's violence, but there's few scenes
violent.
of,
No, okay, sorry. Finish with that.
there's like there are some violent moments, but there's like, it's generally not described on screen. There are a few instances of that, but all the sex stuff in the book is pretty much off screen.
Okay, but
You'll say people are nude, and that's it.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Far
no,
Snows
but-
does a huge fade out.
Yes, there isn't much of any on-screen sex in the book, but there is heavy implication of like extreme sexual violence. There's like sex slaves. There's like, all different
Yeah.
kinds of relationships.
No,
There's
yeah.
polyamorous relationships. There's like, so there, and there's not any sex on screen it all fades to black too in the first season.
There's much more. I mean, again, like, I don't.
No,
this is
I just think I just disagree. I think maybe it's more mature than the Eye of the World is, but I think it's partly on level with what the whole series of Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
I think anyway,
I don't know,
you've
this
read
YA
the series
angle
more
is-
than me, but
this YA angle is off to me, but
okay, that was just meant to be a small point. I think that
Maybe
okay,
just YA is kind of a loaded term, and
Well,
Jake
no, and
doesn't like the way you're using it.
No. It's the I agree that some of the stuff has felt more YA, and in terms of the writing and the advertising, like it's more like poppy. Like in the trailer, there's like a pop song playing through the trailer, which you wouldn't get in something like Game of Thrones, right? because they're not. Well,
Probably
there's-
not Game. Everything is doing the pop
Did
song
Game
thing
of
nowadays.
Thrones
I hate
have
it.
any trailers with pop songs? Maybe.
well, I mean, maybe they did, but obviously, to me, that is not what I remember from Game of Thrones. I mean, you had the Ed Sheeran thing, but
You had
It-
freaking itch. Yeah. That what's
But
that movie that's
I'm agreeing with you. I'm
What-
agreeing
what-
with you that they are advertising and like pushing this more as a YA
Yeah.
thing. I just disagreed about the content level. Like,
I-
I don't think YA necessarily means lower content.
Yeah, well, and again, like YA wasn't a category when much of the Wheel of Time was being written. So obviously it wasn't written like modern day YA is written. But I think that Tor has tried to like I think that there's a long history of the Wheel of Time being marketed as a YA product. And that's all I'm trying to get to. Okay.
All right. Agree to disagree.
All right, fair enough.
I don't know about that either, Josh. I mean, these are
Yeah.
massive books. Like it's hard
There's
to market
instances of
that
it.
to YA.
Like
They
Josh
do-
said, there's instances where they like try to split it up, but did they do that for the whole series? No, they did it for a handful of books. And then there's the new covers, but the new covers don't look more YA. They just was more modern art. It was like moving
No,
away
there's
from
like that series of YA covers, wasn't there? It's not the newest ones with the symbols and stuff, but there's like the
with like
It's
the
like
the
actual
super-
artwork.
with the
The super
characters.
basic looking.
Are you
No,
talking about the one where like one of like Towers of Midnight is an axe on a tree?
Parent.
I
No,
don't- I
there's
don't know
like the
how
one with
spoilers.
Oh,
There's
you're
the one
talking.
with,
Those
like,
are like
Perrin.
the ebook covers.
Yeah,
I
and
think
those
is
aren't
where I've
those
seen
aren't
those.
YA covers.
that's
Those are just modern art covers going away from like 80s fantasy covers.
All right, fair enough. Maybe I'm wrong.
Get out of here, Josh.
Get out.
We're spending way too much time.
Case closed.
All
All right.
Anyway,
so
I'm more excited than
season-
I. For,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
How'd
excited for
you like the
season
TV show? By the way, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, the final thought. I've obviously spent way too much time on me, but I've really enjoyed. I've really enjoyed it because like I've watched it with Mackenzie, she's read Eye of the World, but she just doesn't really have. I don't think she's going to devote time to reading all the series, so it's fun to experience the story with Mackenzie in this format. And while I know it changes some things and whatnot, like it's still fun that she knows all these characters that that I enjoy. So there's my.
We'll have to
closing
get
thought.
her opinion as season 2 goes on, because I know you guys are watching Game of Thrones for the first time, so she's like experiencing both properties kind of for the first time. I wonder.
Yeah.
We have the whole nostalgia of Game of Thrones 10 years ago when it was amazing and it was just everywhere. But that'd be cool to see it both simultaneously.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
For me, I think it's kind of interesting. Like when they were first, I was way hyped 2 years ago when they were first coming out, and I'm not as hyped now. So I think that's kind of the way that I'm measuring.
Why are you
much-
not as hyped?
It's been a while. It's been 2 years. And I think in the time in between, I don't know, like I've just,
Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest with how
no. Sure. I'm trying to just come up with the right way to explain it. It just hasn't made like the cultural impact that a lot of other shows have made. So I can't just like sit down and talk with whoever about Wheel of Time because not as many people have seen it. For Game of Thrones, it was easy to like always have something to talk about because everyone knew what the show was, even if they didn't know any of the character names or whatever. Like they were always down to talk about what was going to happen with the Dragon Queen, right?
Yeah.
Season 1, I wouldn't say it was a huge disappointment. Maybe it was a slight disappointment. I think my expectations were probably too high going in.
Yeah.
And it was kind of weird for us because we got a little into like the culture war going on around some of the things in the show. And so I think that made me all like, I'm
more
going to
defensive of it.
Yeah, more defensive,
Same.
right?
Yeah.
In general. And but then you can be defensive of that, but then also kind of realize that there were some weaknesses with the show. And I just had maybe a hard time like holding those conflicting. They're not really conflicting, but two kind of different opinions around like the same thing is a little strange for me.
Being
Anyway,
able to be
as time
critical
is
of it and defensive of it.
yeah, like you can be, but it's a little hard to be. At the time, it was hard to be critical of it because if you were critical of it, people assumed that you were critical because of
reasons
changes
you didn't think were valid. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that time has passed, I think maybe I'm a little more settled in my opinion, and I think it's a little more. It just makes more sense to say, the things they did with the show were fine, but at the same time, it could have been better. And honestly, I was really bummed out by the last 2 episodes. I think the last two were where I realized, like, man, this just doesn't look very good. Like, the production quality just doesn't look great. And a lot of that was because of COVID. And so it's easy to say, like, oh, without COVID, you know, this would have been better.
I think that's the thing I disagree with you guys most about. Obviously, I do agree that the last 2 episodes looked pretty bad, but I do think that the first few episodes, like probably the first 6 episodes, looked really good. I think that
there were parts that I think looked really good. Yeah.
I think that the costumes looked really good. I think that the sets looked really
they
good.
spent a lot of time on looked really good. Like,
yeah,
they spent a ton of time on Emmons Field, and I thought that part looked good.
Other than the Trollocs, like that first Trolloc fight looked bad.
Yeah,
go back and watch it when Moraine crushes one with the weave of air. It looks like me trying to run Baldur's Gate 3 on my 8 gig Mac M1. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, good game.
Topical.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time.
I agree with you, Steven. I wasn't hugely disappointed in season 1, but I was disappointed. And I think I realized with the production quality that there is, and one other thing I remember being like, I'm not annoyed because it's a change, but just annoyed because it's dumb writing, like creating a love triangle with Egwene. Like that was just dumb. Like,
oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Well, it's implied that happened. They haven't really done anything with it yet.
They created the love triangle in season 1. Yes, they did. Yes, they did, Josh. This isn't people like, oh, what if I think this could be a love triangle? It's like, no, they inserted a love triangle in there. No, there's no debate about it.
No, I'm not saying that there was one in the book. I just think that Rand was meant to show how jealous Rand was acting, and that I don't think that Perrin really has any interest in Egwene.
No, Perrin's whole conflict with his wife was that he's spending time like watching Egwene and her like celebrating her ceremony, not with his wife, and she's like jealous of Egwene. And then at the end, like that conflict erupts between Perrin and Rand. And there
were like enough kind of weird hints where you're like, wait, what is this? Like, this is the thing, but they never like fully.
I think they never fully
but
make
at the same time, it was weird.
It's definitely. It's not up to interpretation. That's literally what they're writing. Go back and watch it, Josh.
I am going to start my rewatch of season 1 pretty soon. But
anyways, what I was going to say is if like season 1 of Wheel of Time wasn't Wheel of Time IP, I wouldn't have finished the series. I would have watched a couple episodes and been like, nah. It would have been like Carnival Row to me. It would have been like, it has like, I thought Carnival Row, same set and like, or costume designer and creature stuff. Mm-hmm. I thought it looked really nice, but it was just like, this isn't like doing anything for me. But because it is Wheel of Time, I do want to watch it. But it's different than Game of Thrones, where if I had never read any of the Game of Thrones books, I still would have been hooked on the TV show.
Yeah, I mean, again,
that's fair.
I think that's what. Again, I think you're comparing something to like one of the best TV shows that have ever come out, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
so I mean,
well, you can. I mean, it's probably important to manage your expectations, right? Like, just because something pales,
but it's. But what I'm saying, I'm not saying it has to be at the same level of Game of Thrones, but Game of Thrones is far and above something that I would watch and can start and continue watching. And this was, if it wasn't Wheel of Time, I would not have continued watching. So like, yeah, there's a big jump in quality, but if it was like right here, I still would have liked it. Like, I still would have watched it. But
okay, fair enough.
But so yeah, if you're if we're still not if we're not turned off yet, viewers, we are going to talk about season 2. So at this point, we're going to watch the trailer just to kind of, give people a chance to check that out. On the podcast, I'll probably just edit out the trailer watching part and go straight into our analysis. But I'm going to share my screen now for people watching on YouTube, and we will watch together. We'll just watch it straight through.
Can you see when we raise our hand? I don't think we want to watch it straight through because I think we might get like copyright.
You want to stop and talk about it?
Yeah, let's stop and talk about it. Can you see if we raise our hand?
Okay. I'm sharing now. Although actually sharing my screen changed my view. So You know what? If you want to talk, why don't you just say pause?
Okay.
Okay, so let's start watching.
Everyone has a choice. And every choice has a consequence.
I'm bigger than my body.
We didn't defeat the Dark One. We set him free.
Okay, pause.
No one should.
Pause.
It seems like they go back and forth, like between knowing who that it's not actually the Dark One. Like, what are we supposed to assume that they know right now? Because
I think they think he's the Dark One. It wasn't, that was my understanding in the show, and then it wasn't until did the audience, like, did people who hadn't read the book know he's not the Dark One until that extra bonus scene that was released?
I don't see why the audience would have known.
okay, but does Moraine still think that?
I
think
don't know
she
why
does.
Moraine would know.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
get I get the vibe that she finds out later on, like maybe episode 5 or 6 or something. I don't know why she would
Yeah.
know right away.
Okay, fair enough.
But in that,
Of
we can
later
discuss the
episodes of
bonus scene
season
later.
2, by the
Yeah.
way. Yeah, the bonus scene does make it pretty obvious, right?
He calls himself Forsaken in it.
Yeah, and he calls himself.
Yeah.
Doesn't he say?
He specifically
We're
says,
trying
"I'm
not to
not the
do.
Dark One."
I guess we'll try not to do like spoilers for, but he says a name. He says his name too, right?
I don't
In
know.
the bonus scene.
I don't think so. He says father of lies, betrayer of hope, which if you read the book, like, that's a giveaway.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of this we want to cut out. And then he says Forsaken, which maybe
Okay.
if you haven't read the books, that's not a giveaway. I don't know.
And by the way, we're referring to the bonus scene that is at the end of season 1, episode 8, that they added into that episode like a couple weeks ago or something. And it's the there's a gathering of well,
Dark Friends.
Dark
Yeah.
Friends, I guess. It's like the very beginning part of book 2. Although I mean different, obviously, but I think that's kind of the vibe they're going for. All right.
Yeah.
We're not going to watch that, but check that out if you haven't seen it already.
I'm meaner than my demons.
No one should have that much power.
I'm bigger than these
All right, pause it real fast.
Yeah.
So, 2 thoughts. One was that was some pretty creepy horror stuff. You know, like if they do
Yeah.
keep leaning
This?
into like, ugh.
Like this is like Samara from The Ring, started on my nightmares.
Yeah. Can we discuss what we think this is, or should we save that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So
Okay.
we'll kind of talk about like general thoughts of
What's the spoiler level of this? I don't think.
I think from now on we
I'm-
should say that we're going to be spoiling The Great Hunt.
yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
talk about
Great
what
hunt.
we think will be covered in season 2, which is books
Okay.
2 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is Lanfear being unbound. I think Unraveling the Pattern pointed that out in his video. That was his analysis. Anyways, I think that would be cool if that's what it was.
Huh.
But yeah, that does look good.
Like long dark hair. Why would she be covered in blood like that?
Who knows? It's probably how they're sealed away. I don't know.
It maybe
could be.
just trying to
Yeah.
indicate like the birthing process, you know, like
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
also the weaves look pretty cool. They got some more color in them this time around.
Like this shot, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing with I I don't love his costuming. I'm gonna be honest. We talked about I mean, this looks like he's almost like a businessman,
I
which
think
I guess is kind of the vibe, but I don't know.
I think it's all right because they're trying to make it look like feels like they're trying to make it look like Age of Legends, like what people would have worn in the Age of Legends, right?
Yeah, okay, that's fair then. That's
And so,
true.
so like I do get that. I think something could have looked better in terms of like what you would want from like a really like powerful evil entity. But I think I get where they're coming from. I don't know if it
But
really
they're
translates.
they're definitely leaning into this idea of like evil, but also evil can be understood, and people can be like people can be evil but don't necessarily appear
like-
to be
It's like
like, on
lawful
the
evil.
surface. Yeah.
Which is interesting because the Shamael is more chaotic evil overall. He's logical, but not necessarily lawful.
Right.
Does that
Certainly.
make sense?
Yeah. I mean, right. I
Maybe
guess
neutral.
we don't. Yeah.
Chaotic, maybe neutral. Maybe he's more neutral, and then Panic Feint would be the
Tricky to kind of like talk about some of these
Yeah.
things without going into
Panic
spoilers
Feint,
too much.
yeah.
But yeah. Okay,
Well,
let's go.
that's not spoilers or anything, Pat.
Together we face the impossible. But now in our separate corners of the world.
Pause.
What do you guys think of this mysterious character?
Whenever I see someone who's supposed to look like an Aes Sedai, like have an Aes Sedai face, which I guess she's not supposed to, but I'm always like, man, how would you even do that? I never even figured out how to imagine that when reading it.
It's like
But
not even possible.
I think they chose a good I think she looks good as Celine, and I think like she obviously looks a little older than Rand, at least to me, and I think that would be good for the like Rand falling and like being kind of duped, but also like as a viewer, like obviously something shady here, you know, like you can't, like it feels uneasy.
Yeah, and she's a really good actress too. I don't know her name, but she's in Peaky Blinders and is quite good in that show.
Yeah, I agree. I've been rereading The Great Hunt, and I forgot how big of a part Celine was in The Great Hunt. I mean, because I haven't read that since high school, I don't think. Or right after high school.
Okay.
So anyway, it's been fun reading it, but I think that they do a good job. I mean, yeah, she was meant to be a little bit younger in the book, like, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that works well how they've done it so far. And
how long do you guys think they will spend with, season 1 ended really kind of separating our crew in ways that we did not expect from the books? So how long do you think we'll spend with Rand kind of off doing his own thing, which is basically like book 3 that they've added in early, which I think is I don't think it's a bad decision, but I wonder how long they'll do it in the show for.
He was alone in book 2 for a minute, like with the portal stones and everything.
Yeah, he was with
That's
the
true.
tracker.
Yeah.
When he meets Celine. Oh, he was with Loyal. But I wonder if they'll merge
And
those
Huron,
together.
right?
Oh yeah, and Huron. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I took the end of season 1 to be a lot like book 3, where he just takes off by himself and we have no contact with him, and he does really creepy and weird things that hopefully don't end up in this show.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think they would do that because it just doesn't, like, the point. I think the point of that in book 3 was showing like is he maintaining his sanity or not? And I think that's a little too early for the show, the way the show things are going. I think that's should be shown like season 3. But
yeah, this to me looks like the portal stone stuff. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, I think Steven's saying maybe they'll combine those together, like his journey to Tyr kind of thing will maybe be a journey to Falma / Tyr, and Celine will be on the way with that.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to combine Falma / Tyr. Like, are we even going to have Tyr in the show?
Carrion.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think
Yeah.
that's confirmed. I think they've shown like the rising
Because that's
or
where he
the,
was going to from with the portal stone stuff.
That's where he ends up. Yeah,
That's where it
but
ends up.
Well, yeah,
um,
but I mean, end
that was
of,
just a
but
pit
and
stop along the
book
way.
book two is basically the adventure to Falma. Book three is the adventure to Tyr. Would
Yeah.
they combine those two things together? I think that they're similar enough where for a TV show adaptation, it makes sense too.
I think they could. I think they could put the Stone of Tyr in Falma, and then have him.
The
I
Stone
don't
of
know how-
Falma.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know how they would bring in Kalendor. Like I do agree that like they could combine these, but I'm trying to figure out like
Mhm.
is his goal like maybe Celine's going to tell him, hey, you need to take Kalendor as a Dragon Reborn, and so that's why he's going there. And then once there, that's also like the confrontation with the Shan Chan and the White Cloaks and Bazelmon and everything. Maybe maybe that's how they do it, because I just don't know why else like he'd think to go to the stone itself.
Yeah.
But
Did you guys see the article or the whatever? There was some rumblings about Wheel of Time season 2 has one of the biggest battle scenes ever, on par with Gladiator. I think was
yeah, I did see that.
what was-
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
So that sounds cool if it's true.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Book 2 ends in a really fun
Jake
way.
can't. Jake can't muster the words. I'm excited.
I'm excited to see that on screen. But my confidence in it being up to
Actually is
par
cool as
is like
yeah.
it's like 50-50, but excited to see what they do with it.
I'm rewatching Parks and Rec right now, and I just watched the episode where Leslie has to apologize to a guy from Eagleton who's submitting a design for the park, and she can't say the words "I'm sorry." And that's the vibes I got from Jake trying to say I'm excited. All right, let's go on.
Protecting Rand, guiding him, that is the only thing that matters. You can't control him.
You know you have something inside you.
You gonna say those
Well-
waves look cool too?
Yeah, I just gonna say the taint. Like that's a cool visual representation of the taint.
Mm-hmm.
I do think sometimes it's kind of hard to see. Like, I wonder how often like someone who's not familiar with the books notices it. Because sometimes I haven't really noticed it. And I have only really seen it because other people have pointed it out.
Yeah,
this could
but
just
people
look like-
watching the show don't necessarily need to see that, right?
Yeah. But I hope they do pick that up on that, because it is a cool detail.
We do have the golden eyes detail.
Nice.
Oh, I really hope that this show can do a lot better for Perrin
Yeah.
in season 2. Season 1 Perrin, man, that it was, and nothing of not criticizing the performance or anything, but I think that's a good example of kind of tough writing. He didn't have a whole lot to do ever, and just kind of moped around the whole time, and kind of a rough go for his character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So hopefully he has more autonomy here in season 2.
Something that calls for blood. I want to know.
And obviously, I guess I can pause whenever I want to. We have our new Matt. So, I mean, that's a shame that we had to go that direction. And I think the Matt in season 1 was pretty solid, but
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
did you see? This is some drama Daniel Green talked about in the most recent Fantasy News stuff.
But Daniel Green
apparently-
has some insight.
No, well,
It's kinda like a
the
lawsuit
actors
or
like pressing
something.
charges against an online magazine or something for rumors that they started about why he got fired.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Going back to the anti-vaccine stuff, saying that he quit because he didn't want to be vaccinated.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it seems like stuff like that could really just blow up your career. That's tough.
Seriously, yeah. And he did an amazing job. I felt like
Yeah,
as-
but also
as Matt.
leaving it not to be critical because he obviously needs to do what he needs to do, but leaving it in production, 2/3 of the way through and making them recast you probably isn't going to be great for your career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, not
I
like
mean-
he needed to do what he needed to do, but like
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a tough situation.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Is that Celine right there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
for
is.
sure. This has got major it's interesting. They like Rand in books 1 and 2 is so like naive and like young, and then he gets a little darker as things go on. And I feel like from the get-go, I think season 1, the Rand actor Joshua, whatever his last name is, did
Yosha.
Yosha. Oh, is
Yosha.
it Yosha? Oh,
Yeah,
my bad.
it is. Yeah.
Yosha. He did a decent job of like acting like naive. Like he looked pretty like everything's so new. But in this one, it seems like they're adding the darker element a bit sooner. So maybe we will see some of those book 3 scenes that you weren't excited for.
I just
But like,
that the book 3 scene that I'm talking about specifically was just super weird. So we don't need to see that on TV.
but I think he like this scene alone, like he is nailing the I'm being manipulated and I don't know it kind of vibe. I feel like it's coming through really well.
Okay, onward.
How to control it.
The last battle's coming.
I'm just excited to see more Logain. I'm glad that they did that in season 1. I thought that was one of their better decisions, and I'm glad that looks like he's still going to be a big part of season 2 and like manipulating the world somehow. I think this is a good decision.
Yeah. Do you think that's Tar Valon, or do you think that's because I think we'll see a scene where it looks like Rand is about to meet with the Amerlin. Do you think he meets with her in Tar Valon on their way back, or does she go to Faldara like in book 2? It looks like Tar Valon.
I don't know.
To
I
me.
mean, Tar Valon feels right, because Logain would be there, and Logain escaping again seems like a pretty big plot point that maybe we don't want to spend a lot of time with. So
I was assuming she would bring him with her if she went to Faldara, but the bridge, the tree, it looks more like Tar Valon to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
The last battle's coming.
The whole world will be ours.
What do you guys think about the Shanshan look, the vibe, the costumes?
50-50. I think that looks good. Interesting choice on like the tattoos to make them more engraved. I think everything looks good other than the Soldam Adam, like the leash and everything. Like the mouth thing, I don't know. I feel like they went for a bold strategy and it didn't really pay off, in my opinion. I think it looks just kind of weird. But it sounds like there is still a collar aspect to it as well, though.
Yeah. The nails look cool. The
nails are good.
Yeah. I don't know about the face covering thing. That
Yeah.
I don't know if I love that or not.
And I will kind of say,
yeah, Josh.
Sorry. I will kind of say that this does look like they gave a little bit too much leeway to the costume department. Like maybe they could have reined it in a little bit.
A little extra here.
A little extra.
This was another thing. Again, like this is not a big deal at all. This is just as a book lover, the Shanshan are known for having these like insect like armor and like headpieces, and like I guess we haven't really seen a bunch of armor yet, but this could have been a great place to showcase that. But
I mean, that does look kind of insect like though.
Yeah, I could see that from just this ornamentation.
What bug you see in there?
Well, up here, like pincers and stuff, and like the kind of scale.
I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily a bug, but this looks insectoid, if that's a word. Like
insectoid. I
don't think it does. There's some carapace looking stuff here going on.
I don't. It's not a big deal, but that would have been.
Cool. I think if you were telling to somebody to design an insectoid head unit thing, and they came up with that, I'd be like, okay. Works for me. Yeah. I don't know how I would have done it.
But when you compare it to like the image you have in the books, that is clearly more insectoid. Again,
I don't know what your image is, man.
Really? You don't know like the chapter heading for the Shanshan? That's like the picture.
Oh, okay. Sure. Chapter heading. I guess, yeah.
Again, for those listening, not a valid critique at all. It was just a wish list item for me.
So we have the Dark One, or is he here with the Shan Chan? Interesting. I guess I think this might be a good way to just kind of combine the antagonistic forces, make the plot a little bit simpler.
I think the cool thing about it is, like, you find out later historically, Ishmael was the one who created the Adam and like got that going in Shan Chan. And so like this might be a simpler way of showcasing that he was behind a lot of that antagonistic force already. Do you think he is visible to everyone, or is this like, or is
like this is some kind of dream? This is a dream sequence.
Not a dream sequence, but maybe he's like in her head, in Surath's head. I assume that's Lady Surath.
Could be.
Or is he like a known? Just again, because his costuming looks so different than everyone else's.
True.
Or do you think he's a known? Like maybe he's under an alias. Like I wonder if he's kind of taking the place of. Oh, never mind. But yeah, I don't know why I got the feeling that maybe he might be just in her head. But
yeah, the difference in costuming is that is a good point. Don't know. I don't know if I love this, but I guess to just play devil's advocate, because it just establishes the Shan Chan as full on evil, which I guess yeah, you kind of get that vibe in the books as well. But
I don't think it does, because like again, spoilers for books 2 and 3, right? Like we know
right. That's
Lady Surath is a dark friend, right? And so she was in charge of the initial part of the return, and so I think that makes sense.
Yeah, and they have these slaves that they're taking the Aes Sedai and like they seem pretty evil, I guess. Without.
And Ishmael created those
yeah,
to sow chaos in the world. So,
all right, let's keep it going.
The whole world will be ours.
If our friends are in trouble, why would I ever stay here? You have no conception.
I'm excited to see Elaine.
My girl Elaine. That's all I'm gonna say.
Josh loves Elaine. There she is.
Okay. I'm predicting something here. Steven,
don't not about my girl Elaine. Okay.
No. Listen. Steven and I historically have not been fans of Elaine in the books. Historically true. The twins have. I'm predicting, after Steven seeing this actress play Elaine on screen, Steven's going to become a big Elaine fan.
No.
Danny Lane, Steven.
True.
Jake, there's no way you're right, Jake. It could happen. I was always in Elaine. Apologies. She's really just misunderstood in the books. But
and she's got that pout going on already. She's getting ready to write those letters. We got this.
Oh my gosh. So great.
Yeah. No further comment. I guess we'll see how that plays out.
You have no conception of the power they wield.
You can't do this by yourself.
Actually, there's a character that I was going to be a stand for. It'd probably be Avienda, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
that.
That's more purely from book. We'll see what happens in the show, but
I can't wait to get some haters talking about how, it's so unrealistic that a 5'4" girl or whatever was going to be killing all these guys. I know she's taller in the books, but like is going to be wrecking all these guys. I can't wait for it.
Is the actress only 5'4"?
No, I don't know, but she looks.
I was like, that would be.
I guess she's next to Perrin.
Aiel.
What's that? Yeah, because Aiel, like the women are pretty tall, right? I mean, all the Aiel are
all of them
tall,
are.
But
so do you think
they showed some Aiel in one of the promo things that they did, and like one was really tall and one was shorter. So I think we're gonna get people of all types.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Do you think she's the Aiel that Perrin frees in book 3? Do you think she replaces Gaul in this?
Yeah, probably. I think it's best to simplify. They've got to simplify the huge cast of characters.
Yeah, and Gaul's a great character, but I think he could easily be cut from a show.
Yeah.
Especially a show that's trying to do 8 seasons, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But...
are many paths to walk through the night.
So it looks like Tarvon is still going to be a big setting, and I think shots like this look pretty good. Like this definitely looks on par with, I think, the type of I guess imagery that you would see in a Game of Thrones type show. And I'm glad that Leandrin is still a character they've leaned into, because I think she was definitely a highlight in season 1.
I think they're like really humanizing her more in this. Like she's pretty just evil in the books and like petty, but in this one, especially her last line in the trailer makes it sound like it's like she's not just evil, she's just trying to survive.
And obviously, as we go towards Falma, she's going to have a pretty big role. I don't even, man, I need to refresh on everything that happens with her arc, but it makes sense to continue to make her a big character when she's going to have a pretty big outcome on what ends up happening here.
Walk through the night.
It's not always the most powerful who write history. It's the ones who survive.
Wait, go back.
I'm tired.
So when she was coming through was that the accepted test?
Yeah, or the not. Yeah, I think it's probably the accepted test.
So, I mean, they did that nude in the show, right? Or in the book.
Yeah.
So it looks like they are, gonna reel some of that in a little bit. I think it's past this even.
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to find the spot, but
yeah,
it's
it's one frame. You don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
So that's naive.
I don't think the show was ever gonna put full on nudity in.
They did say that, because when the first season was coming out, like they were kind of conflicting with saying like, oh, there's nudity, but also you could watch this with your family.
There was that one part where they were like in the Aes Sedai bathhouse, and there was like some kind of background nudity, but it wasn't focused on.
Yeah, that was still kind of like PG-13, like background, not focused, not sexualized at all.
There's a lot of shots here, like this one with Perrin that I'm trying to get to. That
looks like a white cloak.
Going to, there's this scene that I don't like with Rand on the wheel.
You do like?
I do not.
Yeah, I do not. This looks very like.
Here's Perrin in the white cloak. This looks cool, and I feel pretty optimistic that Perrin's gonna have a good season 2.
Yeah, look at his eye. They even have like the yellow eyes in that shot.
Yeah, this is a good. Yeah. This is a cool image. I'm liking this. But yeah, no, I'm not liking the wheel thing. It just looks silly, and I guess
maybe that could be.
Someone pointed out to me that it's probably a dream sequence.
Yeah.
Which okay, but at the same time, I just don't think it looks good.
It doesn't look that good. It looks like we need a reason to have Rand shirtless on display. That's what it feels like to capture some audience.
No, yeah, I mean he's looking good shirtless here. He's definitely bulked up for the big scene. Yeah.
Anyone kind of disappointed there's not a big Pat on Fane presence in the season 2 trailer?
I don't think he's in the trailer at all. He is in the bonus clip.
Yeah,
but not. It doesn't make you feel like he is important for season 2 at all.
That's true. Yeah, I think he'll still be in the show, but just popping in every now and then to sow some chaos.
I hope they don't minimize. I hope they there's so much potential there for him on screen, and I hope they don't minimize it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the ones who survive.
I'm tired of being a spoke in the wheel.
You're not a spoke, boy. You are the water that turns the wheel itself.
Best line in the trailer. Again, not this has that.
We know Jake hates that line. Yeah,
it has no bearing on the quality. What's that?
I'm indifferent to it. I don't know the lore deep enough to have that bug me, but
it's not like indicative of the quality of the show at all. But it's just like literally the water that turns the wheel is the one power. like the one source, like that is, or the true source. I'm getting confused with the true power. Is the true source. It's Saidin and Saidar. They are literally what turned the wheel. That is like baked in there. So it's just a weird choice for them to make it Rand instead, when he's like, I don't know. I guess they're just trying to emphasize his like importance, which grows. It's just, I feel like there's better ways to do that. And again,
it's not subtle. I don't.
It's not a big deal at all.
Nothing about season 1 was super subtle. Nothing from the season 2 trailer makes me think there's a ton of subtlety in the show.
But it's not just a subtlety
clear
thing.
as
They just could have used a different analogy when there already is an analogy for that very thing that they're putting him in.
well, I'm just saying the explanations are just very much like, okay, viewer, this is how it is. We're just gonna like lay it out for you. And they put Rand on the big wheel to emphasize, he's turning the wheel of time or whatever, right? So yeah, I think with maybe more clever writing, there's room for more subtlety.
I don't even think you have to be more clever. It's just use a different analogy there.
That would be different writing, Jake.
Well, not
more clever writing.
No, it wouldn't be more clever. It would just be literally a different analogy.
Jake saying you could use a different, very on the nose analogy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
that one's
okay.
taken already. That was
okay.
made. And again, nitpick for sure, but
okay. So we've already been going here for a while, but let me just kind of rapid fire a few questions at you guys. So just respond in like a sentence or a word or something. So season 2, what are you looking forward to the most?
Pat and Fane and Matt, honestly, those two. Book 3 Matt stuff, I'm hoping is done really well. If they get to that, I wouldn't be disappointed if they don't get to that, but I'm really
sure Rafe said the
out.
whole quarterstaff training scene is in season 2. I'm pretty sure he confirmed that was going to be there. Which I mean, one scene, but that should point to like that they're going somewhere with Matt's arc. Yeah.
I think me looking forward to it. I think traveling to like seeing new sets, new locations, broadening the world out a little bit. I felt like we in season 1 we did see some new things, but like I don't know. I think that
you don't really stay in any place too long in season 1, so it's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Get more of like a homey feel in some of these places, like we're going back to Tar Valon, just like we're going back to Winterfell type.
Yeah.
To use also, the Game of Thrones analogy again. Yeah.
That epic gladiator battle. Excited for that. Excited, like that is one of the most excited things I am about season 2.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm most excited for, other than Elaine, obviously.
Elaine's looking good, man. Elaine's looking good.
I'll have to let you know who I'm crushing on more, Elaine or Avienda, by the end of season 2. Okay.
Celine, is Celine not in the running?
She's too evil, I think.
When does that ever stopped anyone, Steven?
Yeah, okay. We'll see. Okay. Maybe she'll soften my heart a little bit. I don't know. What's one thing you're hoping is improved?
Writing.
That's so general, Jake. Give us like some specific. Like, are we talking?
I don't know.
Like plotting? We talking pacing? We talking dialogue?
Yeah,
writing is kind of like a
dialogue and plotting. Dialogue and plotting. Although,
like the way that the different character arcs weave together to tell a cohesive story and keep you interested in everything at the same time.
Yeah, and don't do like tropey things like the love triangle that Josh denies existed, even though I found an article that confirms it existed.
You found an article by Screen Rant.
There's an article. It's confirmed.
Well, the article doesn't say love triangle confirmed. It's just talking about the love triangle because everybody knows the love triangle is a thing.
No, I sided with Jake on this one. I'm pretty sure the love triangle was there. Not sure how explicit it was. I can't remember, but I definitely got weird vibes from the whole thing.
There's weird vibes, but there's never like
it's not.
There's never. Egwene's never in a romance with both of them.
She was in a romance.
We're gonna table this though.
But there's no romance.
We are gonna table this and move on.
Perrin is into her. That's the triangle aspect.
There's no triangle. No.
Josh, what are you hoping is improved? More love triangles?
More love. Give me all the love triangles.
It's a love triangle the same way that
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need to get into this, but
So what do I hope is improved? I hope that they can, like, I think plotting and pacing are the biggest things for me. I hope that they can really keep your interest without just having cliffhanger episodes, and with actually like making you care about like the chain of events, and get you caring about characters' decisions versus like, oh, this character might be in danger. How are they going to get out of it? It's like, oh man, I'm really concerned about the decision that this character is going to make. And they could do that with Rand and Celine, and there's plenty of opportunities for them there.
Yeah. Harren and the White Cloaks, that's, I think,
Matt, and if he's going to go, how dark he's going to go. Like, with all of our characters, like, are set up to make really interesting decisions. And so I hope that you can care about those decisions.
Which is why people like the books.
And why people like Game of Thrones, really.
Yeah.
Bringing back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. We got to compare it all to Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Yeah. I think for me, I hope that they're able to get me and the casual viewers to care about the characters that are not Rosamund Pike, because she carried season 1 a lot. And I think for the show to be successful going forward, we need to start caring about the other actors and actresses and the character, obviously the characters they are portraying. And not to criticize anyone's performances, but I don't think that the other characters like had as much of a chance to shine as Moraine did. And that was probably somewhat purposeful. In season 1, she was for sure the main character. She had the most time on screen. She had the most lines, everything, right? But I think they need to start recognizing that the other characters need to also become the co-main characters. And hopefully the opportunities that each character have is a little more dispersed.
I think they are. Like, I think it was intentional to have Moraine be the main character in season 1 for a couple of reasons. A big one being the trying to make that mystery of who's the Dragon Reborn. And then I think that was intentional for season 1. And now they're like, okay, now this is a multi-character show.
That's right. I totally forgot about the whole mystery of who is the Dragon Reborn. It wasn't very good.
That was another one where, like, I get where they're going for, but I don't like it. Just, and this is like the type of writing I'm talking about. It just wasn't executed well. Where like it wasn't.
Mackenzie enjoyed it.
It wasn't long enough for it to be like super.
Part of this could be, book snob coming through for both of us.
No, I was like excited for that mystery aspect, because book 1, like, if you've read fantasy before, it's pretty obvious Rand is the main character. Or he is the main character, which means it's obvious, like, he is the one everyone's looking for. He's a chosen one. Yeah. And I was excited to see like the show make that less apparent. But I don't think 8 episodes was long enough for them to really have that mystery go on long enough to be really interesting. Like, they hit on it a couple times, and then when they revealed it, it was just like, okay, info dump. This is who it is. Like, it wasn't like done well enough where you could try to like have enough time to pick out these clues and really piece together, like, oh, this is why I think it's this person. This is why I think it's this person. You know what I mean? But
I don't disagree. Okay, last question, because we've already been going on for a while, but which character or characters are you most excited to see this season?
You already know mine.
Yeah, Pat and Fane still.
I guess Jake already did. Okay, Pat and Fane. So I mean, you're going for a kind of C tier Wheel of Time character that you're most excited to see.
This is one of his biggest books, like The Blood Calls Blood. Like, he has some cool moments in book 2, and it'd be cool to see that translate, because then, like, this is one of his biggest moments in the series.
So if not now, then never is what you're saying.
That's what it feels like. Yeah.
That's fair. Josh, are you going with Elaine for real?
Elaine all day long. Scanner.
What does she do in book 2, Josh?
She appears. She
appears.
Looks pretty.
she ticks off Nynaeve, which is always a good thing.
No, that's book 3. No, that's not even
That's
book
book two.
3.
It's book 2. I just read it like 2 days ago.
What does she do to tick off
I
Nynaeve?
thought that was just constant.
It's just constant. She doesn't really do anything. She just like
Yeah.
she was just telling Nynaeve and Egwene about tower stuff, and Nynaeve's annoyed
So
by it.
are you like serious? Elaine is really the one you're most
Actually, yeah,
excited to see?
I am really excited to see the addition of Elaine. Yeah.
Okay,
not because of the Nynaeve stuff, but yeah.
Seeing the addition of, but that's the character you're most excited to see.
Yeah.
She doesn't.
I'm like not being super ironic when I say that. Like, I really liked Elaine in the book series, and I'm excited to get to see her in the show. Like, why is that so hard to understand?
I
think it
Just-
was
she
hard to
doesn't do-
understand
I
the
mean,
first
Avienda,
time.
yeah, like I know Steven's gonna say Avienda, so like obviously Avienda kicks butt, and like it's gonna be cool to see her. But I'm gonna pick Elaine. Deal with it.
All right.
No, I think
that's
I
your
think
pick.
it's fine to be
That's his
excited
pick,
to
Jake.
see Elaine. No. It's just I was just confused because
You pick.
like these
Oh,
aren't
sorry.
this books 2 and 3 aren't like huge Elaine books in terms of like
Yeah,
things
you're
she
right.
does. Like there's other characters that do bigger things in this part of the story.
That wasn't
so-
the question though. It's not which character is gonna do the biggest things. It's which character.
Well, I know,
you're
but
excited to see.
generally you're most excited to see the person who does like the coolest thing, right?
Probably a lot of it is Elaine is new to the show
Yeah.
this season, so there's some
we
excitement
get
there.
we get one of the few last big characters being introduced that we're gonna get in the series, and it's one of my favorite characters. So yes, I'm excited.
Okay.
Excited to see her.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Good pick. Avienda for sure, probably for similar reasons. New character, big character, cool character. I really think I want to see Perrin. Like, I think this is almost like make or break for Perrin's plotline. Like, if he has another season where he does nothing, that's really bad for one
Well,
of the three
yeah.
main
I think-
characters of the.
Kind of, but also Perrin gets a lot more to do later on in the series.
Yeah, but he needs to start doing something.
Yeah, he needs to start doing something.
Yeah.
He does. There are big opportunities for him in this season. So,
And the trailer got me excited. Those couple shots from the trailer made me think that he'll have more chances.
I wonder what they're gonna do with Avienda in this one. Is it just gonna be like strictly what we see in her in book 3, or they're gonna, I don't know. I'm
I
interested
got
to
the
see what they
vibe
do.
that she's just gonna kind of be introduced and do some fighting, and maybe we'll like learn a little bit about the Aiel, but
Kinda
I'm
like
not
book
expecting
3.
any big character developments with her.
Yeah, I wonder. If
She's not gonna come on and say like I'm the new main character. Everyone else.
Right,
Yeah.
but I wonder if they'll start like seeds of romance in this season already, or if that's going to be paused for later.
I would be surprised. Yeah.
So hard to know because you have to like keep pace. You know what I mean? You have to. I don't know,
Mhm.
but like if you
Yeah,
if you make
For how much that we talked about the writing being lackluster, it is a really big challenge to try to adapt a huge sprawling book series into TV, but hopefully
Yeah.
they continue to learn and get better.
Okay.
That is our official stance. At least that's what I'm going to declare our official stance is. All right. Thanks for sticking with us. I guess follow along on Discord, and we will definitely be doing some updates on our thoughts. I don't know if we'll see how our release schedule is. I don't know if we'll do reviews for every episode like we did 2 years ago. If
we'll
it gets a
definitely
little
do the
slow
first
with
block,
yeah,
because
yeah,
they'll release like 3 to start. Like that'll be good.
right. Yeah, we'll do the first block and at least the end, and we'll see if we have books to read. If we're light on books that we've read, then we'll probably do reviews of individual episodes.
Yeah, that did make it for some good episodes during that time.
Yeah. Same with House of the Dragon. That really kind of carried us through a dry spell on books last year.
We're gonna be reading a lot in these upcoming years of writers and actor strikes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. All right. See you guys later.
See ya.
So, yeah.